It's 7:03.
This is Cable 7, where new music lives. Now on with this hour's great music.
This is your WITN Morning News Update on 103.7 WTIB and 94.1 WNBU.
Good morning with your WITN News Update. I'm Heather King. It was a peaceful night in uptown Greenville for Halloween. Authorities are crediting changes in their strategy. No major incidents were reported overnight. Greenville police had 5 checkpoints at different streets to screen partygoers, similar to what you would experience at a college football game. More than 100 police officers from different towns were in Greenville last night to help control the thousands. Food trucks were also new this year, along with an expansion of the event area. An explosion has shut down a pipeline that supplies gasoline to millions of people for the second time in less than 2 months, raising the specter of gas shortages and price increases. 1 worker was killed and a half dozen were injured in Monday's blast in Alabama. An earlier pipeline leak not far from Monday's explosion led to Colonial Pipeline shut down the delivery system in September. That prompted dry pumps and higher prices in Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, and here in North Carolina. The effects of this latest disruption aren't immediately clear. With just 1 week until Election Day, an emergency hearing is scheduled in federal court this morning about something that could prevent hundreds of people in one Eastern Carolina county from voting next Tuesday. The NAACP has filed a lawsuit that zeroes in on Beaufort, Cumberland, and Moore counties where thousands of voters' names have been challenged. In most cases, mail sent to an address is returned as undeliverable, which county boards can accept as evidence that the voter no longer lives there. The NAACP says the challenges have disproportionately affected black voters, who comprise 53% of the registered voters in Belhaven, where all of the Beaufort County challenges were filed, according to the Associated Press. The National Voter Registration Act prohibits boards of election from clearing voter names from the rolls within 90 days of a federal election, but state election officials say it's legal under state law. The hearing is scheduled for 9 this morning in Winston-Salem. A reward is now being offered for help finding who's responsible for the murder of a man in a church parking lot. The Bertie County Sheriff's Office says 50-year-old Brian Keith Harrell was found shot twice on October 4th at the Cedar Landing Missionary Baptist Church outside of Windsor. The office says they're offering a $2,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction. $1,000 is from the Sheriff's Office, but the other $1,000 was raised by Harrell's own community. The Pitt County Medical Examiner says he died from a gunshot wound to the neck. He was also shot in the chest. If you have any information, you're asked to call 252-794-5330. For the first time in more than 2 years, GUC customers will see a rise in their natural gas bills. GUC says it will be increasing natural gas rates starting today due to rising wholesale gas prices. A typical residential natural gas customer will see an increase of about $3 per month. GUC says anticipated higher natural gas usage this winter and a reduction in supply led to the increase in wholesale prices. The last GUC increase was in March of 2014. Those are your WITN News headlines. I'm Heather King.
Eastern Carolina weather.
Partly cloudy and seasonably comfortable today with a high near 69 degrees. For tonight, mostly cloudy and calm, lows in the low 50s. For your Wednesday, mostly sunny and warmer with highs in the middle 70s. For tomorrow night, lows around 56 degrees. And a chance of showers come our way on Thursday, mainly in the evening, a 30% chance of showers. Otherwise, partly sunny skies with a high near 80 and lows in the low 50s. Right now, 50 degrees in Greenville, 50 in New Bern. Talk of the Town, November the 1st, 2016 on 103.7 WTIB and 94.1 WMB.
We're setting prices way back at Greenville Toyota. Camrys, not $20,000, just $16,900. That's Camrys. Fallback price, $16,900. Plus, get our advantage during the Fallback Savings event at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
My prescription refills.
My son's shot records.
My doctor's appointments.
My lab results.
My parents' care.
My chart.
Vidant My Chart.
Vidant My Chart is the secure online patient portal that lets you manage your health your way. Visit VidantMyChart.com or call 1-855-MyVidant to learn how you can sign up.
That's a tough shot.
You're right. Can't bear to look. This must be what Luke Kuechly feels like when he takes the field.
Man, this is what Kevin must have felt like when he switched that game winner.
Look for limited edition Pepsi Panthers cans and packaging in stores now. Pepsi, official soft drink of the Carolina Panthers.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit TopDogOnline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
My prescription refills.
My son's shot records.
My doctor's appointments.
My lab results.
My parents' care.
My chart.
Vidant My Chart.
Vidant My Chart is the secure online patient portal that lets you manage your health your way. Visit VidantMyChart.com or call 1-855-MyVidant to learn how you can sign up.
We're setting prices way back at Greenville Toyota. Camrys, not $20,000, just $16,900. That's Camrys. Fallback price, $16,900. Plus, get our advantage during the Fallback Savings event at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Welcome into Talk of the Town with Henry Hinton.
People say I am the best boss. They go, God, we've never worked in a place like this before. You're hilarious.
News, weather, sports, and of course, all the local info you need to start your day.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
Catch Talk of the Town live on 103.7 WTIB and 94.1 WNBU.
What?
Cable 7 in Greenville and worldwide at WTIBFM.com.
What?
Now here's the host for Talk of the Town.
Yes.
Henry Hinton.
All right, all you deplorables, all you adorable deplorables, welcome into Tuesday Talk of the Town. Welcome to November. We got Halloween behind us, and now we can focus on Thanksgiving, and then we'll be focused on Christmas, and then New Year's, and then we can start it all over again. Welcome into Talk of the Town. Hard to believe, isn't it? This year's kind of gone by pretty fast.
It sure has.
Halloween is over. Good morning, McGee is here. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing fine.
Heather will join us in a minute. Heather is making her way down Arlington Boulevard, which is, by the way, under construction right now. And we're now seeing we're reaping the gains of passing the bond here in Greenville that we started to get. Was it like $15 million worth of repaving money? And so they're repaving Arlington Boulevard, and yesterday was a mess, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It's probably going to get worse.
Yeah, I would think so. Just one lane right now.
Well, what they've done is they've scraped the top asphalt off. They scraped the top layer of asphalt off, and it was both lanes coming in this morning.
Okay.
Both lanes had been scraped. So I guess they're going to start to pave one lane at a time, and it's going to be like creeping down Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah,
here
take your time.
For the next few weeks. You can tell that the traffic is going to be a mess. Yesterday when I was leaving the office, I was trying to get home and pick up my wife and head out to trick-or-treating with the grandkids, and I just got off Arlington Boulevard. I just found another route to go home. And you can. I tell you what's happened in Greenville. You can almost get nowhere without getting on Arlington Boulevard anymore. You got to get on Arlington somewhere.
That's true.
Almost all the time. So it's a mess. All right, welcome in. Sunshine at 67. Another beautiful fall day today. 50 tonight. Sunny and 75 tomorrow, and then sunshine and 81 degrees on Thursday. Did you go out trick-or-treating last night?
I was out and about.
This was the first year with a baby.
Yeah.
Did you dress the baby up?
I did. She was a pumpkin.
You dressed her up as a pumpkin.
She was.
That's always easy with a baby.
Easy to do. Had a onesie and a hat, and she was good to go. But no, I went to a little get-together over off Greenville Boulevard, and there were a lot of trick-or-treaters out. And for a long time. I was surprised to see how late they stayed out last night.
My son's neighborhood, Hank and Meredith live in the Irish Creek neighborhood in Winterville. Mm-hmm. And I have to hand it to the guys in the parents in that neighborhood. They do it right. They actually get a permit to block off the street so you don't have to worry about the kids running in and out of the street. And then they start about 4:30 in the afternoon, and they have what they call their annual Halloweeny roast, where a couple of the granddads, I don't. I should probably, but I don't. Vin McCaffrey and some of the other guys' fathers cook the hot dogs. I should, I feel guilty right now. I should have gotten over there and started cooking the hot dog.
Yeah, you should have.
I didn't get out of the office till 5 o'clock, so the hot dogs would have been late if I'd have been over there. But some of the granddads cook the hot dogs, and the parents all dress up with the kids. And they just have a huge party in Vin's yard, which is he's got a great big front yard. And the whole neighborhood, that whole neighborhood comes. It's like a couple hundred people out there with kids and everything. And they're all running around. The kids are having fun.
That's fun.
In their costumes. Fun. And they do that until right when at dusk, when dark begins to fall, they all get their pumpkins and their bags and their jugs, and they go out and they trick or treat.
Yeah, there were trailers out and about last night of parents taking groups of kids down the streets, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun.
I did my annual duty of sitting on the front stoop and handing out the candy while the parents.
Well, you did something. That's good.
Took the grandkids trick or treating.
I did see a couple of. I thought about you when I saw a couple of kids who I thought were. They looked a bit old.
I only had a couple last night that didn't have a costume on. And of course, I always give them candy, but I have to give them grief first. So this one kid about 14 years old comes up and goes, "Trick or treat," and I went, "What are you?" How he had no costume on. What's your Halloween costume? He just kind of looked at me like, "Trick or treat, man. Trick or treat,
Come on, man. I don't have time to carry on a conversation
Come on,
with you.
man. Trick or treat. Give me the candy.
Just give me that Snickers, man. I got to go. I got other houses to hit up."
But I'm like, what's the deal? I mean, what's your Halloween get up here? Did you come dressed as a 14-year-old boy? I mean, what do you?
I did have one family that came up last night too, and two kids came up, and the mom was with them. Well, I gave the kids candy. Well, the mom, who was also had a little some kind of costume on, had a bag out, and she said, "Here." And I said, "Okay." She said, "Oh, it's for the baby in the car." I was like, "Come on, For the baby in the car?
No, Mama gonna sit back and have
For the baby in the car.
Mama gonna sit back.
The baby
and
can't have candy.
Have some Hershey Kisses and some Reese's Pieces.
So I gave her some anyway. What the heck?
So how much money did you spend on candy?
Well, we just bought a bag and left it out because we were actually gone from our house. But when we got back about 8:30, I still had trick-or-treaters in the neighborhood last night. So just one bag. One bag.
I saw a number on, let's see if I can get this. I'm going to Google this. How much is spent on Halloween?
But where I was,
I saw a number yesterday, and I thought, that can't be right.
We ran out of candy at the house party I was attending.
Yeah. Yeah, the number I saw yesterday wasn't right. This is total spending last year on Halloween was almost $7 billion. Gosh.
That's just candy?
The average American celebrating spends $74 on decorations, candy, costumes, and more. I guarantee. Okay. I think it's higher than that. I mean, you can't get it. One costume's $70, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that's the average. Okay, here's another one from USA Today that says we spend $82.93 per person for Halloween.
That's probably right.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, I think it's great.
It is.
I think it's great. I really love it. I think it's one of those family opportunities, and the kids are all happy. They're all having fun and playing, and it's just a lot of fun. It does my heart good to see all those families out there doing that. And again. I didn't hear of any major incidences last night.
Didn't either.
We'll ask Heather when she gets here. But I think downtown Greenville was even pretty
calm,
contained
for the most part. Yep.
You know, they did a smart thing when we had Kristen on yesterday, and she was talking about the fact that they brought in food trucks downtown. Did either one of you guys go downtown? Did any of our young people go downtown? Thomas, the intern, did you trick or treat last night?
I drove around downtown pretty early on because all the roads were blocked off. I just wanted to see what it looked like.
Yeah,
and
you didn't participate?
Yeah, no. I just did
you knew you
homework.
had to be here at 6 in the morning. Did you? 6:30 in the morning.
No, I was working on my journalism homework. So
oh, you were?
You'd be proud.
Thomas is a good student.
I did have my fair share of candy though. So
you did?
Yeah.
Where'd you get the candy? You just go buy it? You just went and bought the candy?
Yeah.
You spend $82 on
it? No, sir. No way.
I bet you I had at least $80 worth of candy to pass out last night, and we only got through about a third of it.
No, really?
So down toward the end of the night, I was handing out like 5 at a time.
Yeah, big handfuls. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
5 for you, 1 for me. 5 for you, 1.
That's how it goes.
I was proud of myself. I ate one little package of Reese's Pieces. And I did chew a piece of Double Bubble.
Okay.
Which I never do because I was afraid I'd pull a filling out. But
I had one box of Nerds.
I got through the night without losing a filling. So.
Good. Very good.
All right, it's Tuesday. Talk of the town. As I mentioned, the weather's going to be perfect. Voting continues. Let's see. I was going to check the Pitt County voting numbers. Dave Davis sends over the Pitt County voting numbers at the end of every night. Now through Monday, in Pitt County, there have been 34,521 voters. And I noticed yesterday that after Sunday voting, we pulled about even. Let's see. That's about where we are. 34,521 voters as compared to the end of the month of, the Monday before the election was 32,000 voters. So we're actually running about 2,000 voters ahead of 2012 in Pitt County. But voting statewide is down. And everybody is now doing their best to try to analyze the voting and to try to figure out what it means. But you know, the Democratic votes in the state of North Carolina are still running very much ahead of Republican voters. However, as I pointed out earlier, in 2012, you might remember that when they analyzed the votes, the early voting, Obama and Mitt Romney were about dead even in early voting, but on Election Day, Republicans voted so strongly on Election Day in 2012 that Mitt Romney won the state by about 97,000 votes. So what does this mean? There's only one person to ask. We need to ask Heather King, who is now joining us. Good morning, Heather.
Let me get my crystal ball out. Good morning.
How much did you spend on Halloween?
On Halloween candy, I know I spent about $50, and we handed out every last piece.
Wow. Did you have to cut the lights off?
We did. Actually, we usually turn them off at 8 anyway, and at about 7:56, there was like this group of kids coming. We're like, we have no candy left, so we just hurried everybody inside. The kids had kind of congregated on the front porch, like, get in.
And that's always awkward.
Turn off the lights.
No more candy.
We got nothing.
And you feel bad because I had 2 or 3 kids that came up last night, and the door was shut, and I was at someone else's house. I didn't even live there.
Yeah.
And they weren't there.
Right.
But I was there giving out the candy, and they walked up, and I said, yeah, we're all out. I was in the refrigerator looking for stuff to give out, juice boxes.
Here's
couldn't
some
find
butter.
anything.
McGee, your neighborhood, you now live very close to where I used to live when they used to bus them in.
Yeah. And
were they bussing them in last night?
Well, they must have been because they were out late. I mean, I kept telling Lauren, my wife, I said,
do you have any trick-or-treaters with facial hair?
No, not this time
You
around.
didn't have to call the puberty rule on anybody?
No.
Sorry, you've reached puberty. No candy for you.
But I thought by 8 o'clock that we kind of cut things off, but no.
Yeah, we shut the lights off.
Did little Charlie go trick-or-treating last night?
Charlie did go trick-or-treating last night in his little Yoda outfit.
He was Yoda?
He was Yoda.
How about the girls? What were they?
Girls,
Leia?
No, I tried to do a theme, but everybody was being too independent this year. I'm struggling with that. Kate was Belle, the princess, and Lauren, my oldest, was a kitty cat who, after multiple parties over the last few days, could not find her ears. So she was an earless kitty cat.
An earless kitty cat.
She couldn't find her headband. Where is this thing? It drove me crazy, but we couldn't find it. It was just gone. So we had whiskers. That was good.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah, it was a great night.
That's good. Did you dress up?
No.
Yeah.
It was all I could do to get the kids dinner and get out.
Does your neighborhood do it up big too?
Yeah, it's a big time. It's a big time. So.
We didn't have that when I was a kid. I think that's the coolest thing ever. That all the neighborhoods get all the kids. And do you guys do a big party before things?
No, there's a lot of individual homes and families that kind of congregate.
Right.
So, there's a lot of those that you can attend or you can host. But there's no big one like you were saying for Irish Creek. That sounds awesome.
I can tell you that there was no homework done in the Irish Creek neighborhood last night.
Hopefully there was none given out.
Nobody did the homework last night.
I'm glad we didn't have any
because
homework.
those kids are out there all afternoon, and then of course they were wired for sound when they got back. The other thing is when the kids come back and they lay all the candy out and then they start to separate it.
Yep.
And negotiate.
That's right.
Yeah.
Barter.
Yeah, and Pop was in there helping with that one. I said to my oldest grandson, "You don't want those M&Ms, do you?"
Did you charge fees for handing out? You had to tax them for your.
Well, it was a small tax.
There you go.
It was a small tax. One little. All right, let's see. Today is Tuesday. Speaking of voting, I'm trying to watch the national pundits to see whether or not this latest FBI thing is going to really have any effect on the election or not. And I'm not sure that it is. It should. It should, but I'm not sure that it will. It's like yesterday I was listening to Rush, and he had all these Fox News analysts using the term baked in. Have you heard that? That's the new thing. Well, we don't think it's going to have that big of an effect because we feel like that all of the Clinton scandals and all of the corruption and all the allegations against Hillary were already baked in before people made their decisions on who they were going to support. Baked in. And everybody on Fox News has been using it. Shepard Smith, Newt Gingrich even used it. They've all been saying, well, it was baked in. And so, when I think about that, I think, well, so what you're basically saying is people knew she was corrupt, but they're going to support her anyway, which is really kind of the truth. It's really kind of the truth. But my friend Sam Sellers keeps sending me stuff from the Daily Mail website. Here's one article that was published yesterday. FBI agents wanted to investigate the Clinton Foundation, but were barred by their bosses at the Justice Department. It says FBI agents in New York spent a year investigating the Clinton Foundation. The Department of Justice said there was not enough evidence to continue. Agents found Clinton emails on a computer then owned by Anthony Weiner, and Weiner's estranged wife, Uma Abedin, is Hillary Clinton's closest aide. All of this we know. But you really have to go back and revisit the whole situation when Bill Clinton got on the airplane on the tarmac. Remember when, he actually met with the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, and they came out and they said, well, it was just a social visit. I mean, here his wife is under investigation by the FBI, which essentially reports to the Attorney General, since she is the highest-ranking law enforcement officer in the country. And they're saying, well, it was just a social visit. And then you have Comey come out and say, well, she's guilty, but we're not going to indict her. So this is what's happening. People at the FBI, people that work at the FBI, have just gone crazy about this. They're just going crazy. And I think that Comey had to reopen this thing. He had to reopen it, or the FBI was getting ready to crumble at the top levels. They were sick of it. They were sick of the corruption. They were sick of, whatever the reason was. A lot of people say there was money exchanging hands. A lot of people think that Comey was concerned that he would lose his job as FBI director because it appeared to him anyway that Hillary was definitely going to be the president. So then last week he decides, you know what, I'm going to reopen this thing. I'm going to send this letter to Congress. So then comes this other article from the dailymail.com. Details of the confrontation between Comey and Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General, emerge as the White House backs him as a man of integrity. Did you see Obama's kind of tap dance yesterday? Oh, I think Comey's a man of integrity. Is that the first step in Obama trying to save his legacy in this thing? Oh, a Comey, man of integrity, man of integrity. Well, you don't hear that coming from the Clinton folks right now. All you're hearing from the Clinton folks is how wrong it is 11 days before the election for Comey to reopen the investigation. So last Thursday, Comey's aides told Loretta Lynch of their plan to tell Congress about the existence of the trove of new emails, and Lynch made it clear that she thought that his decision to reopen the investigation was violating department policy. This is being reported by Reuters this morning. In other words, are you ordering me to keep the new Clinton email bombshell secret? That's kind of what you can see Comey asking Loretta Lynch. But then Comey challenges whether he was being explicitly directed not to inform Congress. And Loretta Lynch is now saying, well, I never gave such an order. See the pattern here? Deny, deny, deny. So he writes to the committee chairman about the development. Then it emerged it was because of Uma Abedin's emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop. And, of course, the department sent shockwaves through both presidential campaigns and has left Clinton and her aides, including Uma Abedin, reeling. Where does this go? Is it going to matter? It's really interesting, isn't it? I continue to compare this to Watergate because I lived through Watergate. And the parallels to this are very, very close. There are some differences. Richard Nixon was the sitting president, but Watergate happened in the days leading up to the presidential election. If you remember this, the Plumbers, which was the underground group that G. Gordon Liddy had kind of put together, and they're trying to get information about Nixon's opponent, who was I believe it was McGovern. Is that right? 72? Wasn't it McGovern? And they break into Daniel Ellsberg's psychiatrist office. Ellsberg was one of the top DNC folks. And then they break into the Democratic National Headquarters inside the Watergate building. All this leading up to the election. So when it became clear that these were Republican Party operatives, Richard Nixon started denying that he had anything. I didn't have anything to do with that. Lie. And then, of course, we found out not only did Nixon not know about it, he was directing it. We need to get all the poop we can on my opponent. Well, here you've got Hillary Clinton denying, but she's caught. Just like Nixon was caught. But then Nixon got reelected. Just like Clinton could potentially get elected a week from today. Now, what's the end of that story? What's the end of the Watergate?
That's the question.
What's the end of the Watergate story? Everyone knew he was guilty before the election. He got reelected. He became the president. He was already the president. That's the difference. But then after, the country was embroiled in scandal. It led to congressional hearings. Remember Sam Ervin? He was chair of the Watergate Committee. Our buddy Rufus Edmiston was his aide. How did that end up? And let me tell you something. It was an ugly mess for the country. It was an ugly mess for the country, and it went on and on and on and on. It was embarrassing. And I can tell you that if Hillary Clinton gets elected president next Tuesday, that's where we're headed. It's not going to end on Tuesday. This is going to go on and on and on and on. There are going to be congressional hearings. And where is it going to end? Michael, you have the microphone.
I've heard a theory, and please tell me this is wrong. Could Obama pardon Hillary?
Well, how did the Watergate thing
Well, that's
end?
true. Ford pardoned Nixon afterwards.
After he resigned.
Oh, that's true. You're
right.
He
resigned first.
That's true.
Nixon resigned, but the only way to end it for the American people and not see a president go to prison was for after Gerald Ford became the president. Of course, he was elected vice president with Richard Nixon. He pardoned Richard Nixon. And then, of course, Nixon went off and lived in Santa Barbara, California, and lived in disgrace the rest of his life. I'm telling you, we're heading right down the Watergate road here. This is going to be Watergate all over again for this country. 561-8255. 561-TALK. Mike, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, I'm a little concerned about what's happening in our country, but other than that, I'm all right.
Amen. Aren't we all? You've got to remember that the Watergate stuff was driven by the news media. They're the ones that kept it before the public. They're the ones that did the background investigations. It wouldn't happen this time. You know, that Hillary would not be crucified like Nixon was.
Well, let me tell you something. If Hillary wins the presidency, you watch the media; they'll turn on her in a skinny minute. They're going to cover. They're going to cover
I have real
themselves.
reservations about that happening.
That's what you're living for. Well, yeah, that's a good point, Mike. That's a good point. But, I mean, look, we're still going to have a Republican House. And where does impeachment occur? In the House of Representatives. You're still going to have a Republican House. You know, depending on who you listen to and who you believe, Republicans are also probably going to hold on to the Senate. Has a lot to do with the Richard Burr, Deborah Ross race right here in North Carolina, whether Republicans hold on to the Senate. But the Republicans are going to hold on to the House. So it doesn't matter what the media says. This thing's not going away. Even if she wins, it's not going away.
One more thing. You got to remember that Hillary was fired from the Watergate Committee for her shenanigans there.
That's true. That is absolutely true. All right, Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
561-8255 if you want to get in. Frank has texted me, no pardon until guilty of something, or pardon would admit guilt. That's right. Same thing with Nixon. I mean, Nixon, even when Nixon resigned, he resigned saying, I'm resigning for the good of the country. I'm not resigning because I'm guilty. But, we got to end this somehow, and it seems like the only way to end it is for me to resign. So I'm going to resign. It was not until after he had resigned that, everybody knew that he was guilty, including him. But then Gerald Ford came out and pardoned him. And I talked about the Saturday Night Massacre yesterday, where Nixon kept firing the Attorney General until he could find it. I mean, in one night, he fired the Attorney General, Elliot Richardson, because Elliot Richardson would not fire the special prosecutor, Archibald Cox, who had Nixon by the short ones and had done a great job of investigating Nixon. And so when they were closing in, Nixon was so corrupt, he went to the Attorney General and said, fire the special prosecutor. And the Attorney General said, no. I'm not going to do it. So Nixon fired the Attorney General, and he went to the number 2 person in charge and said, I'm going to make you Attorney General, but I want you to fire the special prosecutor. I can't remember who that was, but he said no. So they had to go to the 3rd in charge in the Justice Department, which was Bork, who then told Nixon, I'll fire the special prosecutor. So, look, crazy stuff could happen after Hillary gets elected, if she gets elected. Jack, good morning.
Good morning. My theory is that if she gets elected, Obama pardons her before inauguration.
She's got, just like Frank just said, pardons her for what? She's never been charged with anything.
Well,
I mean, the FBI's got to charge her first.
Yeah. I just think they're so corrupt, lived a whole life of it, that they'll work out something along that line before inauguration.
But I'm telling you, 2 weeks from now, that's what we're going to be dealing with. The country's going to be, if she wins, and I'm not so sure she's going to win now, but if she wins, that's what the country is going to be dealing with for the next year.
Yep, I agree.
It's going to be Watergate all over again. And let me tell you, it's an ugly mess for the country. Meanwhile, we got people's heads getting cut off in the Middle East.
Right.
Is this what we should be dealing with?
Nope. It is always bait and switch.
Which, by the way, if you're an undecided voter right now, you might consider this when you go to the polls today or sometime in the next week. Because Trump might be a horn dog, but at least once he's elected, we're not going to be dealing with this.
Look at what he's built. Look at his family behind him.
Well, I don't know. We've heard those. We've heard all those arguments, Jack.
Yeah, he's not perfect, but he has worked.
All right, thank you, Jack.
Thank you. Bye.
7:42. We gotta get into the sports, but I did want to mention this recent flat with Richard Burr. I heard you reporting this morning. So Richard Burr, where was he when he did this? He was
Mooresville, wasn't he?
Yeah, Mooresville. He was in Mooresville over the weekend, I think, and he saw a guy in the audience wearing an NRA hat. And so he pointed the guy out, and here's the quote that he said, "Nothing made me feel any better than when I walked into a gun shop, I think yesterday, in Oxford, And there was a copy of Rifleman, which is the NRA's official magazine, by the way. It's got a picture of Hillary on the front of it. I was a little bit shocked that it didn't have a bullseye on it. All right, so should he have said it? No. Inappropriate? Yes. Big deal? No. I mean, it's kind of like the comment that was made about Palin and the crosshairs. Remember that? I mean, that's people just make it's a figment of speech. But he did issue an apology yesterday after CNN jumped all over this Monday. Burr said in a written statement, "The comment I made was inappropriate, and I apologize for it." However, I will say this. You know, I talked about the News and Observer yesterday. Burr came out in addition to this yesterday and said, "I am no longer going to send any of my press releases or notices of my campaign events to the News and Observer." He says, Paul Shoemaker, Burr's lead political strategist, put an embargo on sending you scheduling details until you demonstrate the ability to cover this race from a balanced point of view. Good for him. Good for him. It's time for everybody to start calling the News and Observer out for what it is. It is nothing but a political, liberal spin machine. That's all it is. And again, if you missed my little rant on that yesterday morning, they put all that stuff on the front page of the News and Observer about Chancellor Staten's emails here from ECU, just trying to stir up stuff. The nastiest emails they could find, they print, and then they don't cover our football game on the sports page. I mean, come on, man. 7:44. We'll cover the sports, though. Here's McGee on sports.
All right, Monday Night Football, Jay Cutler threw for 252 yards and a touchdown. After missing 5 games, rookie Jordan Howard ran for a career-high 153 yards and a touchdown, and the Chicago Bears beat the Minnesota Vikings 20-10. Chicago sacked Vikings quarterback Sam Bradford 5 times on the night while handing Minnesota its second straight loss. The Chicago Cubs and Cleveland Indians meet tonight in Game 6 of the World Series. Indians lead the best-of-7 3-2. No team has wiped out a 3-1 deficit in the World Series since the Kansas City Royals did it to St. Louis in 1985. Tonight's first pitch from Cleveland's Progressive Field set for 8 o'clock. The Duke Blue Devils, the runaway choice for number 1 in the Associated Press preseason top 25 college basketball poll released Monday. The Blue Devils, who returned 3 starters from last season's team and have what is considered to be one of the top recruiting classes in the nation, received 58 of the 65 first-place votes from the national media panel. Kentucky is number 2, followed by Kansas, Villanova, and Oregon. North Carolina came in at number 6. And there is some college football tonight. Number 17, Western Michigan, 8-0 on the season, will take on Ball State at 8 o'clock.
All right, very good. It's 7:45. We'll be back, and Heather King is live in the studio. What happened on Halloween night? A wrap-up of that and other local news from WITN coming up. It's Talk of the Town, and we've got a funny Jerry Seinfeld laugh track this morning, too. We'll be right back.
Eastern North Carolina's truck headquarters is
East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep. We have over 100 new Rams in stock. That's the largest in Eastern North Carolina.
If you're in the market for a new truck, now is the time. Ram Power Days are going on now through October 31st. Buy now and get 20% off MSRP on select Ram trucks.
East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Across from the Cracker Barrel in Greenville.
That's a tough shot.
You're right. Can't bear to look.
I'm great. How are you? Awesome. So fun.
This must be what Luke Kuechly feels like when he takes the field.
Man, this is what Kevin must have felt like when he switched that game winner.
Look for limited edition Pepsi Panthers cans and packaging in stores now. Pepsi, official soft drink of the Carolina Panthers.
Every wireless provider has towers in the city, but US Cellular put towers in places the other guys didn't. So you can video chat at your secret fishing spot or stream way out here. Because US Cellular thinks you deserve a signal that works wherever you are. U.S. Cellular, a stronger signal in the middle of anywhere.
Visit Real Wireless, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent in Ahoskie, Williamston, and Windsor for the best deals in wireless and great service on a network that works in the middle of anywhere.
Prescription refills.
My son's shot records.
My doctor's appointments.
My lab results.
My parents' care.
Oh, man.
My chart.
Vidant My Chart.
Vidant MyChart is the secure online patient portal that lets you manage your health your way. Visit VidantMyChart.com or call 1-855-MyVidant to learn how you can sign up.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and workweek daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit TopDogOnline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
This is your WITN Morning News Update on 103.7 WTIB and 94.1 WNBU.
Good morning, everyone. It's 7:49, and with your WITN News Update, I'm Heather King. It was a peaceful night in Uptown Greenville for Halloween. Authorities are crediting their changes in strategy this year. No major incidences were reported overnight. Greenville police had 5 checkpoints at different streets to screen the partygoers, similar to what you would experience going into a college football game. More than 100 police officers from different towns were in Greenville last night to help control the thousands. Food trucks were also new this year, along with an expansion of the event area. An explosion has shut down a pipeline that supplies gasoline to millions of people for the second time in less than 2 months, raising the specter of more gas shortages and price increases. 1 worker was killed and a half dozen were injured in Monday's explosion in Alabama. An earlier pipeline leak not far from Monday's explosion led to the Colonial Pipeline shutting down the delivery system back in September. That prompted dry pumps and higher prices in North Carolina and other southern states. The effects of this latest disruption are not immediately clear. With just 1 week until Election Day, an emergency hearing is scheduled in federal court this morning about something that could prevent hundreds of people in one Eastern Carolina county from voting next Tuesday. The NAACP has filed a lawsuit that zeroes in on Beaufort, Cumberland, and Moore counties, where thousands of voters' names have been challenged. In most cases, mail sent to an address is returned as undeliverable, which county boards can accept as evidence that the voter no longer lives there. The NAACP says the challenges have disproportionately affected black voters, who comprise 53% of registered voters in Belhaven, where all of the Beaufort County challenges were filed, according to the Associated Press. The National Voter Registration Act prohibits boards of election from clearing voter names from rolls within 90 days of a federal election, but state election officials say it's not interpreted as that way under state law. That hearing is scheduled for 9 o'clock this morning in Winston-Salem. A reward is now being offered for help finding who is responsible for the murder of a man in a church parking lot. The Bertie County Sheriff's Office says 50-year-old Brian Keith Harrell was found shot twice October 4th at the Cedar Landing Missionary Church outside of Windsor. The office says they're now offering a $2,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction. $1,000 is from the sheriff's office, but the other $1,000 comes from Harrell's community where he lived. The Pitt County Medical Examiner says that he died from a gunshot wound to the neck. He was also shot in the chest. If you have information on this deadly crime, you're asked to call 252-794-5330. For the first time in more than 2 years, GUC customers will see a rise in their natural gas bills. Greenville Utilities says it will be increasing natural gas rates starting today due to rising wholesale gas prices. A typical residential natural gas customer will see an increase of about $3 per month. GUC added that anticipated higher natural gas usage this winter and a reduction in supply led to the increase in wholesale prices. The last GUC increase was in March of 2014. Those are your WITN News headlines. I'm Heather King.
Okay, partly sunny and 67 today, cloudy and 50 tonight. We're looking for sunshine and 75 on Wednesday. Sunshine and 81 coming up on Thursday. Current temperatures right now is 51 degrees. We'll be right back.
Eastern North Carolina's truck headquarters is
East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep. We have over 100 new Rams in stock. That's the largest in Eastern North Carolina.
If you're in the market for a new truck, now is the time. Ram Power Days are going on now through October 31st. Buy now and get 20% off MSRP on select Ram trucks.
East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Across from the Cracker Barrel in Greenville.
Every wireless provider has towers in the city, but U.S. Cellular put towers in places the other guys didn't. So you can video chat at your secret fishing spot or stream way out here. Because U.S. Cellular thinks you deserve a signal that works wherever you are. U.S. Cellular, a stronger signal in the middle of anywhere.
Visit Real Wireless, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent in Ahoskie, Williamston, and Windsor for the best deals in wireless and great service on a network that works in the middle of anywhere.
There's a new car dealership in Washington, and you've got to see the all-new Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram located on Highway 264. I'm Matthew Sessons, General Manager at the new Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We're proud to provide Eastern North Carolina with a state-of-the-art facility, a huge selection of new cars and trucks, and a reliable service department.
Stop in to see us for Ram Power Days and get 20% off select Ram trucks at the all-new Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and WashingtonChrysler.com.
My prescription refills.
My son shot records.
My doctor's appointments.
My lab results.
My parents' care. My chart.
Vidant My Chart.
Vidant MyChart is the secure online patient portal that lets you manage your health your way. Visit VidantMyChart.com or call 1-855-MyVidant to learn how you can sign up.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and workweek daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit TopDogOnline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
Little Tom Petty bringing us back. By the way, speaking of Tom Petty, I seriously don't watch The Voice, but my wife loves that show. And last night,
sometimes you're forced to watch it.
Well, look, let me tell you, if I'm sitting in that room when The Voice is on, I'm gonna at least get it through osmosis. But my wife loves that show. But last night they had this guy sing "Breakdown," which is one of my favorite rock and roll songs of all time by Tom Petty. And he nailed it.
Nice.
Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
Breakdown, go ahead and give it to me. I love that song. All right. Next hour, I actually have to leave a little early this morning. I got a meeting in Raleigh today. So people have been asking me to replay the interview that we did with a Secret Service agent, Gary Byrne, who wrote the book Crisis of Character. This is the book that he wrote regarding the years that he was in the White House with the Clintons. He was there for the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. And I think the timing's just perfect for it. So, since I got to be gone leave a little early. So about 8:30 this morning, we'll rerun that interview with the Secret Service agent, Gary Byrne. We got a laugh track coming up. Jerry Seinfeld this morning. And, you know, this is a funny laugh track because he talks about, which you'll hear here in a second, about watching late night TV and how, you know, you just sit there and flip even though you're so tired you want to go. Do you do that?
No.
I do it. I do it on the week. I even do it during the week sometimes. But I find myself, especially on the weekends, just flipping. Even though I'm not interested, I'm just trying to make myself go to sleep.
Yeah.
So that's Jerry Seinfeld's laugh track this morning. Let's do it. Here is Talk of the Town laugh track this morning with Jerry Seinfeld.
I'm always irritated by that effect of watching TV late at night. I do this most nights. I'm watching TV. Tell me if you have this happens to you. You're watching TV. It's getting late. You're getting tired. You're starting to fall asleep. You think to yourself, I could get into bed, go to sleep right now. But I don't. I don't go to bed. I fight, sleep, and continue searching for entertainment. No, I gotta find a car blowing up, somebody naked. I don't care what it is. I gotta find. What is this? Go to bed! The finger that hits the button on the remote control is the last part of the human body to fall asleep. You're out cold, that finger's still going, still looking. It is amazing what people will believe. I watch these infomercials late at night. I start to believe them. I don't know what the hour is. There is an hour that I'm watching, and I start thinking, you know, I don't think I could cut through a shoe with any of my knives. That does look pretty good. There is nothing about my life that I could tell you that is more embarrassing than the fact that I have actually spoken the words, I would like to order the Ginsu knife. I wish I was making all this up. I actually own the Ginsu knife. I'm going to get this knife and cut my shoes up.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I love Seinfeld.
It's funny.
All right, 8 o'clock. See you on the other side of the news.
I love it.
We're setting prices way back at Greenville Toyota. Camrys, not $20,000, just $16,900. That's Camrys. Fallback price, $16,900. Plus, get our advantage during the Fallback Savings event at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Every wireless provider has towers in the city, but U.S. Cellular put towers in places the other guys didn't. So you can video chat at your secret fishing spot or stream way out here. Because U.S. Cellular thinks you deserve a signal that works wherever you are. U.S. Cellular, a stronger signal in the middle of anywhere.
Visit Real Wireless, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent in Ahoskie, Williamston, and Windsor for the best deals in wireless and great service on a network that works in the middle of anywhere.
My prescription refills.
My son shot records.
My doctor's appointments.
My lab results.
My parents' care. My chart.
Vidant My Chart.
Vidant MyChart is the secure online patient portal that lets you manage your health your way. Visit VidantMyChart.com or call 1-855-MyVidant to learn how you can sign up.
There's a new car dealership in Washington, and you've got to see the all-new Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram located on Highway 264. I'm Matthew Sessions, General Manager at the new Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We're proud to provide Eastern North Carolina with a state-of-the-art facility, a huge selection of new cars and trucks, and a reliable service department. For the best selection and service, stop in to see us for Ram Power Days at the all-new Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Highway 264 and visit WashingtonChrysler.com.
That's a tough shot. You're right. Can't bear to look. This must be what Luke Kuechly feels like when he takes the field.
Man, this is what Kevin must have felt like when he switched that game winner.
Look for limited edition Pepsi Panthers cans and packaging in stores now. Pepsi, official soft drink of the Carolina Panthers.
We're setting prices way back at Greenville Toyota. Camrys, not $20,000, just $16,900. That's Camrys. Fallback price, $16,900. Plus, get our advantage during the Fallback Savings event at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Waking up never sounded so good.
Bear us your medical mumbo jumbo.
Hello! Welcome into Talk of the Town with Henry Hinton.
Oh, my.
News, weather, sports, and of course, all the local info you need to start your day.
Is that a real show?
No, it's somebody who's making a joke. Forget it.
Talk of the Town on 103.7 WTIB, 94.1 WNBU, Cable 7 in Greenville. And now, listen or watch live at WTIBFM.com.
Everybody still awake? All right, big finish.
Now, here's your host for Talk of the Town, Henry Hinton.
Hey now, welcome in Talk of the Town, Hour 2 here. Welcome to November. Feels like November out there this morning. Early 50s. Going to be a high only about 67 today, but we'll be back up to 75 tomorrow. And even back up to 80 on Thursday. Boy, the weather the last couple of weeks has been fantastic, which is usually what happens after we have a big storm. Trent McGee is here at the sports desk. Good morning. Morning, McGee.
Good morning.
World Series tonight?
Game 6.
Game 6. What do you think? Any chance for the Cubbies? Or
I do. I think the Cubs win tonight and force a Game 7.
Look at Heather King. She's shaking her head.
Yeah, I think they force the Game 7.
Heather King is at the news desk this morning. She's a Midwesterner. She grew up in the Midwest. So let me guess, you're a Cubbies fan.
You know, I grew up a Sox fan. But
did you really?
I did. But the first time I went to Wrigley, I'm like, oh, this place is awesome. I do love the Cubs.
Yeah.
So cheering for them tonight.
I've been to Wrigley Field. If you've ever been to a game in Wrigley Field,
yeah,
it's something special.
It really is.
It's a special thing. It really is. All right. Well, I'm kind of pulling for the Cubs.
There you go.
I'm kind of pulling for the Cubs, but I think Cleveland ends it tonight.
Okay.
They certainly have looked stronger during this World Series.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cubs are not playing to their full potential, but
Well, they've looked stronger because Cleveland got out to a 2-0 lead, I think.
yeah,
Don't you think?
Well, they've been making errors and things like that. So
Yeah,
there's just
yeah.
hasn't been, and their pitching of Cleveland
And the
has been really
Chisenhall kid, the local kid, the Chisenhall kid from Carteret County, he didn't play on Sunday night.
strong. Okay, I saw him do something really good the other night, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. You know, he
Dedicated.
is, I don't know if I should say this, he is the cousin of one of our advertisers.
I didn't know that.
I'll give you a hint. And I'll see you there.
Really?
I'm not going to say anything else. I'm not going to say that because I have to confirm it. But I was told that. Hank actually told me that, so.
I had no idea.
That's scary, isn't it? That's scary. But the Carteret County part of it works because that person is from Carteret County.
Yeah, and he was born in Morehead City.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Who Chisenhall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Where did he play his high school ball?
High school? I don't know where he plays.
So one of the Carteret County high schools, I
I have to
guess.
look that up.
All right, 11 minutes after 8 o'clock. Coming up in just a few minutes, we are going to replay the interview that I did about 45, 60 days ago with Gary Byrne, who is the Secret Service agent that worked in the White House with Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. And he's written a book called Crisis of Character. If you missed this interview, you need to listen. I've actually been asked several times, when are you going to replay that interview? And as it turns out, I have to get on the road to a meeting in Raleigh this morning, so we're going to replay that interview for you coming up here in just about 10 or 12 minutes, so stand by for that. It's going to be sunny and 67 today, cloudy overnight tonight, 50, sunny and 75 tomorrow, as we said, 81 on Thursday. Early voting continues. I mentioned the early voting numbers in Pitt County have the early voting numbers in Pitt County and Wake County have been stronger than 2012, but statewide, voting has not been nearly as strong statewide as it was in 2012. And I'm not sure people, I just think, I think different subsets of the population are motivated, but I think the population as a whole is in a little bit of a malaise about the presidential race.
I was telling Heather, I've talked to a lot of people that have said they're going to just wait and vote on Election Day.
Well, Republicans do that. Republicans traditionally wait and vote on Election Day. That's true. And so we'll see if that happens again. It looks like it's going to happen this year. We'll see. We'll see, because voting has been down. And we were talking about this at the Halloween party I was at last night. I saw two different kids dressed up as Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. Trump was a favorite costume this year. You were telling me just now that you know of one who got a little shunned. We won't call any names, but tell that story.
Yeah, there was a kid who dressed as Donald Trump last night and was refused candy at one of the houses he went to because he was dressed like Donald Trump, which I think is very extreme. I mean, come on. But the house wouldn't give him anything.
Because he was dressed as Donald Trump?
Dressed as Donald Trump.
That's not right.
That's not right.
They shouldn't have done that.
No. I saw a Trump. If
you're a kid.
Yeah, I saw a Hillary last night. But I saw a lot of Donald Trumps last night.
Yeah. All right, we got to get a break, but before we do, I want to mention another one of our great sponsors, Beauty Bar Medi Spa. I have now had 3 treatments at Beauty Bar Medi Spa. Would I normally have gone to a spa? Probably not. But this is a spa. It's actually a medical office with a spa atmosphere. I have not had Botox. But what do you think, McGee? Would it help this old ratty face if I got...
Yes.
Oh, Thomas the intern is in there making fun of my face.
Yes, it would help.
Thank you, Thomas. We can't all be 20 and beautiful like you. I'm sorry.
I think you're glowing.
I did have the facial. I have also had 2 other... I've had the back facial, and I had another... I had another treatment that was like a massage, and it's fantastic. And I'm telling you, it's if you're looking for a little different atmosphere. Number one, it's beautiful when you walk in. If you haven't been to the Beauty Bar Medi Spa, But it is a medical office with a spa atmosphere. They focus on aesthetics. They offer non-surgical procedures, laser hair removal, Botox, True Sculpt body contouring, medical-grade facials, spray tans, even tattoo removal. Thomas, you might need that one later. They also get the Botox. You can do it on your schedule. They're working in at lunch, whatever. No tats? No tat. He's not even answering that. So make an appointment for one of Beauty Bar's traditional spa services or one of their non-surgical medical procedures. Call them at 752-1406. 752-1406. Holidays are coming. Perfect time to pamper your wife or your mother or your husband. Get him one of those back facials. That was awesome. It's really a really cool back massage with special things they put on your back to make your back glow as well. Thomas, my back is glowing as well as my face. Call Beauty Bar Medi Spa, 752-1406, 752-1406. All right, news, headlines, sports, and our interview with Gary Byrne coming up. Stay with us.
We're setting prices way back at Greenville Toyota. Camrys, not $20,000, just $16,900. That's Camrys, fallback price $16,900. Plus, get our advantage during the fallback savings event at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Every wireless provider has towers in the city, but US Cellular put towers in places the other guys didn't. So you can video chat at your secret fishing spot or stream way out here. Because US Cellular thinks you deserve a signal that works wherever you are. US Cellular, a stronger signal in the middle of anywhere.
Visit Real Wireless, your local US Cellular authorized agent in Ahoskie, Williamston, and Windsor for the best deals in wireless and great service on a network that works in the middle of anywhere.
It's been an emotionally charged campaign season, but on the local level, one bright spot has been the strong cross-section of support for our state representative, Dr. Greg Murphy. The Daily Reflector said his legislative influence cannot be overstated. Dr. Murphy has been a champion for our schools, our hospital, and our university. But most important, he's your voice in Raleigh. So as you head to the polls, show your support for State Representative Dr. Greg Murphy, because it's good to have a doctor in the House.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit topdogonline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
Dealership in Washington, and you've got to see the all-new Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram located on Highway 264. I'm Matthew Sessions, General Manager at the new Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We're proud to provide Eastern North Carolina with a state-of-the-art facility, a huge selection of new cars and trucks, and a reliable service department.
Stop in to see us for Ram Power Days and get 20% off select Ram trucks at the all-new Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and WashingtonChrysler.com.
That's a tough shot. You're right. Can't bear to look. This must be what Luke Kuechly feels like when he takes the field.
Man, this is what Kevin must have felt like when he swished that game winner.
Look for limited edition Pepsi Panthers cans and packaging in stores now. Pepsi, official soft drink of the Carolina Panthers.
We're setting prices way back at Greenville Toyota. Camrys, not $20,000, just $16,900. That's Camrys, fallback price $16,900. Plus, get our advantage during the fallback savings event at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Potash Corp Aurora and the port at Morehead City have formed an important partnership beneficial to the state of North Carolina. Through the port, critical resources are delivered and shipped by barge to the facility for operations, and products produced on the plant site reach international markets through use of the port. Together, they provide jobs and revenue for the state and this part of the state. Potash Corp Aurora, helping nature provide. 19 after 8 o'clock. What happened last night on Halloween? Was it safe and quiet in the uptown area around the campus. Here's Heather King with our WITN News Update. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning, Henry. It was a peaceful night in uptown Greenville for Halloween. Authorities are crediting changes in their strategy. No major incidents were reported overnight. Greenville police had 5 checkpoints at different entrances to the uptown area to screen partygoers, similar to what you would experience getting into a college football game. More than 100 police officers from other towns were also in Greenville to help control the thousands. Food trucks were also new this year, along with an expansion of the event area. An explosion has shut down the pipeline that supplies gasoline to millions of people for the second time in less than 2 months, raising the specter of gas shortages and price increases. 1 worker was killed and a half dozen were injured in Monday's blast in Alabama. An earlier pipeline leak not far from Monday's explosion led to the Colonial Pipeline shutdown. The delivery system in September that prompted dry pumps and higher prices in North Carolina and other southern states. The effects of this latest disruption are not yet clear. With just 1 week until Election Day, an emergency hearing is scheduled in federal court this morning about something that could prevent hundreds of people in one eastern Carolina county from voting next Tuesday. The NAACP has filed a lawsuit for Beaufort, Cumberland, and Moore counties where thousands of voters have been removed from the rolls and challenged. In most cases, mail sent to an address is returned as undeliverable, which county boards can accept as evidence that the voter no longer lives at that location. The NAACP says the challenges have disproportionately affected black voters, who comprise 53% of registered voters in Belhaven, where all the Beaufort County challenges were filed, according to the Associated Press. The National Voter Registration Act prohibits boards of election from clearing voters' names from the election rolls within 90 days of a federal election, but state election officials say it's not interpreted that way under state law. The hearing is scheduled for 9 o'clock this morning in Winston-Salem. A reward is now being offered for help finding who's responsible for the murder of a man found dead in a church parking lot. The Bertie County Sheriff's Office says 50-year-old Brian Keith Harrell was found shot twice on October 4th at the Cedar Landing Missionary Church outside of Windsor. The office says they're offering a $2,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction. $1,000 is from the sheriff's office itself, but the other $1,000 comes from Harrell's community, desperate for answers. The Pitt County Medical Examiner says that he died from a gunshot wound to the neck. He'd also been shot in the chest. If you have any information on this crime, you're asked to call 252-794-5330. For the first time in more than 2 years, GUC customers will see a rise in their natural gas bills. Greenville Utility says it will be increasing natural gas rates starting today due to rising wholesale gas prices. A typical residential natural gas customer will see about $3 more on their bill every month. GUC says that anticipated higher natural gas usage this winter and a reduction in supply led to the increase in wholesale prices. The last GUC increase was in March of 2014. Those are your WITN News headlines. I'm Heather King. Trent, back to you.
All right, Heather, thanks so much for that. Your forecast for today, partly cloudy skies with a high near 69 degrees. For tonight, mostly cloudy and calm with lows in the low 50s. For your Wednesday, we're looking at sunny skies, warmer with a high near 72 degrees, 75 degrees, that is. 56 for the low tomorrow night. And for your Thursday, rain chance moves in for the evening hours with a high of 80 degrees and lows around 53. Coming up next, Henry's interview with former Secret Service officer Gary Byrne, who wrote the book Crisis of Character. That interview is coming up next. Stay tuned for that at the time.
We're setting prices way back at Greenville Toyota. Camrys, not $20,000, just $16,900. That's Camrys. Fallback price, $16,900. Plus, get our advantage during the Fallback Savings event at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
My prescription refills.
My son shot records.
My doctor's appointments.
My lab results.
My parents' care. My chart.
Vidant My Chart.
Vidant MyChart is the secure online patient portal that lets you manage your health your way. Visit VidantMyChart.com or call 1-855-MyVidant to learn how you can sign up.
That's a tough shot. You're right. Can't bear to look. This must be what Luke Kuechly feels like when he takes the field.
Man, this is what Kevin must have felt like when he switched that game winner.
Look for limited edition Pepsi Panthers cans and packaging in stores now. Pepsi, official soft drink of the Carolina Panthers.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit topdogonline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
Every wireless provider has towers in the city, but US Cellular put towers in places the other guys didn't. So you can video chat at your secret fishing spot or stream way out here. Because US Cellular thinks you deserve a signal that works wherever you are. US Cellular, a stronger signal in the middle of anywhere.
Visit Real Wireless, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent in Ahoskie, Williamston, and Windsor for the best deals in wireless and great service on a network that works in the middle of anywhere.
We're setting prices way back at Greenville Toyota. Camrys, not $20,000, just $16,900. That's Camrys. Fallback price, $16,900. Plus, get our advantage during the Fallback Savings event at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
You may have seen Gary on some of the interviews he's done. I know he's done one big interview with Sean Hannity on Fox News Channel. A lot of the mainstream media is not interviewing Gary, and we'll ask him about that in a second. But if you have not heard about this book, Crisis in Character, it's the hottest book of the summer. And the reason, of course, is because in it, he tells all about the Clintons and his days with the Clintons as a Secret Service agent in the White House during the administration of Bill Clinton, and, of course, how the behavior of not only Bill Clinton but Hillary Clinton during that time, which, of course, is very apropos today. Gary Burns has served in federal law enforcement for more than 30 years in the U.S. Air Force Security Police, the Uniformed Division of the Secret Service, and most recently as federal air marshal. And while serving as a Secret Service agent, Gary protected Bill Clinton and the first family in the White House. He was a decorated Secret Service member during those years, and now I think Hillary Clinton may have some other words for him, not decorated, but let's welcome Gary Byrne. Good morning, Gary. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you so much. I appreciate being on.
Yeah, thank you for agreeing to do the interview. I watched your interview with Sean Hannity this morning, and, you know, there were a lot of interesting things that came out of that. But let me just start with the question about why you decided to write this book. The Clinton campaign is already coming out and saying this is nothing but a smear tactic by the right. It's the same old argument that Hillary Clinton's always made, vast right-wing conspiracy, the whole deal. We saw that with our own United States Senator here, Locke Fairclough. She targeted him on the Today Show, and that's when the term vast right-wing conspiracy came out. But why are you writing this book now?
Well, first of all, let me start with the first that anybody heard of this book. Anybody, Mr. Trump, anybody outside of my family and the publisher was when Matt Drudge posted it on his website. So that kind of crushes her argument there. Two, the reason I wrote it was because, you know, my service to the country was a little over 29 years, and I loved every minute of it. But, you know, I spent 8 years protecting the Clintons, 12 years in the Secret Service Uniform Division. And, you know, all those hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of observing, it became very clear to me very quickly that Mrs. Clinton is not a leader. And it never really bothered me that much, you know, all her strange, crazy behavior, her outbursts. And I detail these very well in my book, Crisis of Character. But when it became clear that she was running for president of the United States, I decided I was going to do something that I said I would never do. Because I'm going to come out and tell my life story, and I'm going to include all this stuff in it. And the truth is, what's in the book is about 50% of what I experienced while I was there. Some of it I'll never tell because it talks too much about some of their family members, or it reveals too much information about the Secret Service practices. But I wrote it in the fashion that I did, telling my life story. It's all true. It's the way it happened. And my greatest concern is people. Mrs. Clinton has this fake aura that they keep trying to publicize that she's this great leader. If there's ever a better example, if you get a chance, if your guests or your listeners are nice enough to read my book, if you read my book and then just review what just happened this past week with the FBI director Comey and his investigation. Now, they decided not to charge her, but what he made very clear is that she lied 5 times at least to the American people. This is what they always do. Mrs. Clinton, I swear, anything that comes out of her mouth is a lie just about. Everything that she says you have to take with a grain of salt. And that's easily proved in my book, Crisis of Character. And if you just look back at the history of this most recent campaign, which she tried to say that when she landed in Bosnia, that she landed under sniper fire and they had to duck down and run. Anybody in the Secret Service knew that was complete hogwash. And she didn't just tell it once. She told it at least 3 times in 3 different shows. She just doesn't have the ability to tell the truth.
There's no doubt. She's been caught nationally in public lies over many, many years. And, of course, you get more detailed about the Clinton years during your the way you chronicle it in your book, Crisis of Character.
Sure.
But let me just ask you, were you encouraged to write this book by anybody in the Republican Party or anybody that has an axe to grind in some way or some way to benefit from discrediting the Clintons?
No, absolutely not. And here's my thing: if you read my book, somebody reads my book and they still and they educate themselves and they still want to vote for the Clintons, go right ahead. That's the greatest thing about this country. For at least for now, you have freedom of choice. So get educated, make your choice, and vote your conscience. But realize you got to live with it. And if the people listening to your radio show right now, they weren't adults during the Clinton, President Bill Clinton's years, go back and look through history. Google his name. Google Bill Clinton's name, Gary Burns' name, and Monica Lewinsky's name, and it'll pull up all the scandals from the time 2 years before they left Arkansas. They just jumped from one scandal to the next scandal, from one batch of lies and spins to the next one. And I don't really want, if I can help the American people educate themselves and stop the next 4 to 8 years of that same stuff, that's what I want to do.
Gary Byrne, the author of Crisis in Character, former Secret Service officer. You were stationed in the Oval Office, outside the Oval Office. So you were there for the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. But you say that you saw a lot of other women during that period of time. I think that's pertinent. I want to come back to that. But let me get back to let me get back to Hillary first. You have said you say in your book that she has exhibited and does exhibit repeatedly dangerous behavior. What do you mean by that?
So one of the examples I cite in my book, Crisis of Character, is one day I was on the south lawn of the White House. That's the side of the White House that's closest to the Washington Monument. It's a very big open lawn. And I was talking to one of my coworkers, and right then we looked up, and the First Lady came flying out of the door, walking out of the White House. And she was in PT clothes, exercise clothes, sweat. She had a hat on and sunglasses, and she was throwing her arms up in the air, and she was cussing and yelling. And then shortly after that, as she came out of the mansion, my coworker realized she was headed towards the southeast gate to exit the complex. So he went over the radio and notified the control center that there was no protection detail. And then that quick, they came back over the radio and said that the detail was aware and they were coming. And I looked up, and here comes an agent out the door. He's still in his suit. He's got food in his mouth. He's literally still chewing his lunch. He throws his arms up in the air, and looking up like, here we go again. Or, I'm so tired of this crap. And that quick, a couple more agents came running out. The officer that was manning that post opened the gate and let her out. And then the K-9 vehicle came around had heard the radio traffic to kind of help the detail protect her a little bit. And what this displays is a complete, it's dangerous. It's dangerous to her, obviously. It's dangerous to the Secret Service agents, and it's dangerous to the public. If you were in that park and she walked out like that without protection, and at this point she's still very angry, very animated, almost not quite out of control, but geez, who acts like that? Who lets themselves get that worked up over something? If you were at that
was that usually after a fight with her husband?
You know, I don't know about usually, but certainly she was mad about something. And I talk about other instances they had, marital, issues that they had, or however you want to look at it, arguments. But in this particular case, she gets out into that park. She's purposely trying to evade her protection. Now they have to run after her. And if you're out in that park with your family and you see her, and you're like, oh, there's the First Lady, and you go running towards her, as those detail agents are running up on her and you're running towards them, they're going to defend her. They have to. We're all trained that it's a threat. And it's a threat until you can decide that it's not a threat. And it's dangerous to her, it's dangerous to the agents, and it's dangerous to the public. And that's just one of many examples I state in my book where both her and Bill Clinton's behavior inadvertently endanger people. And they don't seem to give a care in the world about it. You
use a lot of language in your book that you say Hillary Clinton used on a regular basis. I mean, you talk about the fact that she had a disdain for you, she had a disdain for the people who were there to protect her, and she would often tell agents to go to hell, and she would use she would actually use the F word, get the F out of my face and things like that. I mean, was that a regular occurrence, Gary, or was that just something that would happen when she was mad about something?
No, it happened a lot. It happened to a lot of agents. It happened to a lot of officers. The one in particular I'd like to tell you about is this one UD officer who had been in the uniform division about a year and a half. He came down to the break one day and described that he had walked past the First Lady on the West Colonnade, and she was walking with one of her aides. And he looked at her and he said, "Good morning, First Lady," and she told him to go F himself. Now, that's not the first time something like that's happened with her. It's happened before. She even hit an agent sitting in a limousine one time in the back of the head with a Bible. But in this particular case, where she told this guy to go F himself, 3 or 4 years before, this guy was in the U.S. Army. And he was on a mission that her husband, President Bill Clinton, had sent him on to Somalia, one of the earlier Somalia missions, not the one that we consider now as like Black Hawk Down. And while this guy was there, he got shot. He won a Purple Heart. A sniper hit him, and it went underneath his body armor. He survived. He gets a job with the Secret Service Uniform Division. And then the First Lady of the President of the United States, who sent him on that mission, tells him to go out himself. I'm sorry. That is unacceptable. And it never will be. How
did he react? How did any of you guys react when she would talk like that to
him? The guys that were there, the old timers, so to speak, like me, it was just par for the course. I've been working around her from the very beginning, so I had seen this before. I was used to it. I expected it. I mean, in one case where she would berate me over something, I almost laughed in her face because it's so silly. She's one of these people. She gets wrapped around the axle. Instead of trying to fix something, she just gets angrier and angrier and doesn't try to fix what caused it. She wants to blame somebody. One of the best examples of that right now is this thing with the server. If Mrs. Clinton wanted to use her own private server, which is illegal, I don't care what she tells you. I worked for the federal government for 29 years. You can never send classified information on the internet. Anyway, if she really was a leader and wanted to fix things, she would have fixed this. She complained about the slow State Department servers and their computer system was antiquated. They'd fixed it. Get the money for it from Congress and fix it. And she never fixes anything. She's one of these people that wants these huge government programs, but she doesn't want to follow the rules and take responsibility for when things don't work. Another great example of that is Benghazi. If she was a leader after the incident in Benghazi, regardless of who to blame, set that aside for a minute, if that's possible, and look what she did. She lied about what happened. She blamed other people, shifted the blame to the security division, and then she left and ran for president. A leader would have stayed there.
And then really, Gary, displayed anger at Congress when questioned. I mean, remember what difference does it make? I mean,
right.
That's the when I hear you talk about the way she was behind closed doors, it comes out of her personality occasionally in front of the TV cameras. I think it came out that day at the Benghazi hearing when she yelled, "What difference does it make?" And you're thinking, if you've seen the movie 13 Hours and you see how these guys were left over there just to get slaughtered, you'll understand what difference it made.
It's horrendous. And here's the thing, and I refer to this in my book. She's a dictator. She wants to be a dictator, not a leader, and we don't need that.
Yeah.
And the example you cited when she said, "What difference does it make?" I'm telling you, in my heart of hearts, if one of those congressmen had stood up in their chair and challenged her one or two more times, like looking at her and pointing at her, you'd have seen the real Hillary Clinton. You'd have seen the Hillary Clinton I saw.
She'd have had a Jack Nicholson moment.
I'm telling you, she doesn't have the ability to keep the F-bomb in. She'd have been. It looked exactly like Jack Nicholson.
Wow.
It'd have been great. And people would have seen the real thing.
Again, if you're just joining us, this is Gary Byrne, who is a former Secret Service agent, 12 years in the White House. He was there for all 8 of the Clinton years. He's written a new book called Crisis of Character. It's about Hillary Clinton. Let me get back to talking about the situation with Hillary Clinton. You know, we just went through the, speaking of congressional hearings, with the FBI Director Comey last week. And I would like to hear you, you did this with Sean Hannity. I'd like to hear you talk a little bit about what you saw happening there when Comey was being interviewed and what you think actually took place, and also the whole Loretta Lynch thing. Why do you think we've been told that Clinton ran into Loretta Lynch out there in San Diego, but we now know he waited 45 minutes for her on the tarmac.
Right.
And it was a conversation about grandchildren. What do you make of all that?
So as soon as I saw this, it actually happened in Phoenix, Arizona. I detail something similar to this in my book, Crisis of Character. It's like the Clinton soft intimidation. Now I'm telling you right now, there was more of a chance of all of us hitting the lottery on the same day than that being an accident that he was there. He orchestrates that. That guy's the former president of the United States. He's got more friendlies in the Secret Service, the FBI. He knew exactly where she was going to be. He planned that. He got on that plane because he knew nobody could stop him. He's a former president, and he wanted to remind her of who appointed her originally and why. Because they don't do anything that down the road they don't do anything for anybody that down the road they don't ask for help when one of these scandals comes up. So he puts that soft pressure on her and reminds her how she got where she is. Now, I don't know what they talked about. I don't. But here's what I do know. That was supposed to be clandestine. They tried to hide that, and they couldn't hide it. That's the first thing you have to look at. They didn't want anybody to see. Even President Clinton supposedly was walking around telling everybody to turn their cell phones off and no pictures. So that's the first clue. The second clue is, or actually the first clue is the line about they just happen to run into each other. No way. He planned that. 2, no photos, trying to hide it. You know, he put pressure on her. And whether they talked about grandkids or if he just laid it flat out and said, you know, this is what you're going to do and this is what you're going to tell Comey to do. I don't know if that took place. I'd like to think that the director of the FBI has more character than that, and I believe he does. But I also believe that one of the things that Comey probably understood was even if they indicted her, even if they went forward, that the Justice Department would never indict her. And Congress would never let her go to trial. She would skate away. So I think what he maybe possibly did is let it happen like it did and let the American people, the electorate, take care of it. And send the message that no more do we want this.
I think you're right about that. I really think you're right about that. It was almost my first reaction was it's another Richard Nixon pardoning by Gerald Ford. But then, and that the country doesn't need this. But then the more I thought about it, he didn't indict her or recommend that she be indicted. But, man, he absolutely slapped her around to the point that he was definitely sending a message to the electorate. Here's what you got. If you want to elect her president, this is what you got right here. I don't think there's any question about that. All right, I don't want to run out of time. Now you had a central role in the whole Monica Lewinsky scandal. You were called, I think you might have been one of the first people to be called to testify before the grand jury. And we know, we pretty much know everything now about the whole Monica Lewinsky thing or the pertinent parts of it. You probably saw a lot more than that. And but you say in your book that there were many, many, many women that you believe Kathleen Willey and Paula Jones were telling the truth. But you mentioned you actually talk about a situation where you walked in with Bill Clinton with Walter Mondale's daughter. I don't think that's ever been published before or talked about. Can you tell us about that incident?
Sure. My unfortunate claim to fame is I was the first Secret Service employee in the history of the country to be compelled to testify against the president in a criminal case, and that was the Monica Lewinsky case. And I was actually subpoenaed 6 times before I was ordered by Supreme Court Justice Rehnquist to testify. In the Eleanor Mondale story, I'm on the ground floor of the White House. It's around Christmas time, and I'm walking from the East Wing back to the West Wing, and I stop on the ground floor. This post that's there, right across from the elevators, and I'm talking to a friend of mine and this agent. And as we're talking, one of the Navy stewards walks up to the map room where we're standing, and we're outside in the hallway, and he has a clean shirt for the president. And he goes to open the door, and as he opens the door, he's looking back at us, and we're looking into the room, and what we see is President Bill Clinton standing there making out with Eleanor Mondale like high school seniors. And the steward's still looking at us. So he sees the look on our face, and he turns his head around and looks back at into the room. And then, of course, he gets all flustered. He closes the door, and he runs down the hall, walks down the hallway real fast, embarrassed. And we just looked at each other and said, basically, here we go again. Another day in the White House.
Wow. And you actually helped the president dispose of towels with lipstick and body fluids and things like that from time to time, did you not?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't know about it. I mean, it's not like, him and I conspired together, but I have to maybe steward there. Actually, there's 2 things, twice I talk about in my book, Crisis of Character, where I tried to help the Clintons, or President Clinton especially, help himself, and you just can't do it. I mean,